You won't believe what just happened in Washington. The Trump administration thought they had the perfect plan to corner China by cutting off its access to cheap Russian energy. The goal was to drive up China's costs and force it to its knees. But the plan completely backfired. Instead of backing down, China doubled down on Russia, signed huge new oil deals, and started paying in yuan, striking a direct blow to the US dollar. The architect of this strategy, Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, just did a stunning U-turn. He's now publicly defending China's right to buy Russian oil. But towards America's ally, India, his tone is suddenly harsh and accusatory. This glaring double standard reveals everything. It begs the question, if the pressure isn't working on China, who is actually paying the price? Let's be clear. While officially about Russia, these sanctions were always designed with China as the real target. The broad wording gave Washington a tool to use against anyone. The idea was simple. Suffocate China's energy supply, make its goods more expensive, and bring manufacturing back to America. But China didn't play along. It found a workaround, built a network with Iran and Saudi Arabia, and insulated itself from the pressure. Meanwhile, the U.S. strategy started to unravel at home. American farmers lost their biggest customer for soybeans overnight. Tech companies panicked, realizing there's no replacing Chinese supply chains. And those tough tariff threats from the White House? Their deadlines kept getting delayed. 90 days, then 120, then another 90. These constant delays revealed a painful truth. Washington wasn't ready for a full fight because the cost was simply too high. So, if you can't pressure China, who do you pressure? You pivot to an easier target. And that's exactly what happened to India. Here's the ultimate irony. In recent years, India became America's most promising partner. Companies like Apple poured billions into moving iPhone production out of China and into India. It was supposed to be a safe bet. But now, the very sanctions built to pressure Russia are being used on New Delhi. Not because India is a threat, but because it's more convenient than confronting China. Look at Scott Bessent's language. For China, it's cautious and diplomatic. For India, it's blunt, accusing them of cashing in. The message is clear. Washington knows where it has leverage, and it's not afraid to use it on its allies when the primary plan fails. Why is the U.S. so cautious with Beijing? The answer is economic dependency. First, American agriculture. China buys over $26 billion in U.S. farm products a year. Nearly 1 out of every 3 rows of American soybeans is sent there. When China briefly halted purchases, it caused a crisis. Washington had to spend billions on farmer subsidies just to avoid a wave of bankruptcies. No other market can replace that. Second, rare earth metals. This is the Achilles heel of American tech and defense. China controls the mining and processing of these critical minerals. No rare earths, no smartphones, no electric cars, no advanced military hardware. The White House knows this. It's reported that tariffs were shelved after Beijing privately guaranteed the flow of rare earths wouldn't stop. The U.S. manufacturing base could grind to a halt in weeks without them. This isn't just about China and India. America's closest ally in Asia, Japan, is also caught in the crossfire. Japan's exports to the U.S. plummeted by over 10% last year, largely due to tariffs on Japanese cars. While recently reduced from 25% to 15%, that's still 6 times higher than the 2.5% rate they paid for decades. Companies like Toyota and Honda can't just absorb those costs. Their profits take a hit, threatening jobs in Japan. This contributed to Japan posting a trade deficit, a major red flag for its export-driven economy. At home, Japanese families are struggling with food inflation over 8%. Japan is stuck, hurt by U.S. trade policy abroad, and squeezed by rising costs at home. So, who is paying the price for this trade war? American farmers are losing their largest market. Tech companies are terrified of supply chain collapse. Allies like India and Japan are facing pressure and economic pain, and the U.S. dollar is seeing its dominance challenged. The plan to strengthen America by isolating China has instead strengthened China's alliances and weakened American partners. If America's allies are cracking and its own industries are hurting, then who exactly is winning?